Hey y'all, Nurses Week underway. I hope it's been amazing. I really hope that you've enjoyed all of these mini episodes that I'm dropping because the shit ain't easy, okay? I don't know how people drop daily episodes. Well, actually, I do because I'm doing it. They just continue to make the decision to do this every day. But anyhow, I've gotten some good feedback, so I'm glad, at least a couple of y'all's out there listening, and I just appreciate it so much. So let's jump into today. So today's topic is how to celebrate nurses in your life, but also how to live with a nurse, for lack of better words. I talked to my husband about this, and I thought that this second piece would go very well with the essence of celebrating a nurse, but also like the everyday things for nurses and what it's like to be and live with one. So, if you've been listening to these, you know that being a nurse is not like an everyday gig. It definitely has its perks and its downfalls, and it can be extremely hard mentally, socially, emotionally. And if you are somebody who is either doing life with a nurse, whether it be a partner or maybe it's one of your kids or maybe it's your mom, whatever, there's some things that I just wanted to point out so that you can better understand the nurse in your life. Understand that being a nurse is not like going to work and working a desk job or even a corporate job or marketing or somewhere where you can cut it off, right? I'm a nurse, but I'm a nurse everywhere. So that means that I'm on high alert when I'm out and about. Like we're always around people, right? So I have had situations where my nursing skills have come in handy in the middle of a restaurant or anywhere. So a nurse is a nurse is a nurse. Like it's not something that we disconnect from when we're not at work. And so if you are friends with or close to a nurse, then our nursing life and regular life kind of go together in some sort of way. And you can understand that when you think of like so much of what we do is pulling from ourselves. It takes some deepness of who we are and what we're doing. We're not just packing boxes or printing off paperwork, sending emails. Like we're actually taking care of live human beings, in which most of the time their lives are in our hands. So it's very much a part of us in and out of the workplace. So understanding that our lifestyle is very demanding while we're at work, and sometimes it's hard to disconnect from that when we're not at work. Giving us space is really, really important. When we get home, especially if you're with a nurse or around a nurse that works in a hospital or a facility, long-term care, anywhere like that where it's like long shifts, 12 hours, and it's constant all day long or all night long, it's really important to keep that in mind when they get home because that 20, 30 minute, however minute drive probably was not enough for them to decompress. So let them come in, let them have their own thoughts, their own, just some silence really, because at work we get none of that. The entire shift we are on, our brains are on, it's working. Even when you see us sitting in the desk, our brains are working. We are interacting in some kind of way with something else. So give us time to decompress. Along this lines, it's really important to realize and just kind of keep in the back of your mind that you're unaware of how their shift may have went. Sometimes we have really good shifts where it's chill, like we take care of the same patients from yesterday. Mr. John, and we cool. We kicking it, the whole shift, and we doing tasks. He knows me, I know him, and I'm working with the same people from yesterday. Like sometimes it happens, but then sometimes even Mr. John himself, who I've worked with or taken care of the past 2 days, coded and now he's dead, or other critical situations that happen. You don't know how the shift has gone for that nurse, so keep that in mind. I'll give you an example of one that recently happened that was really sad, but these kinds of things happen in the hospital. And if you aren't a nurse or don't work in the hospital, you think that, oh, you may not think that these things really happen, or just may not be in your mind because it's not in your arena. We had a patient that started on a regular floor, went to a mid-level floor. Very long story short, she was, I think, 9 weeks pregnant, and she had some clots in her lungs. They thought that she'd be okay to wait in the morning to assess them because she was fine, talking on room air, no oxygen. All the signs led to, hey, it's 1 a.m. We don't need to call the specialist in to get these out. Well, all of a sudden, and I kid you not, this was shared with me. I was there the night that it happened. She came to our ICU, but on the floor that she was on, the nurse shared that just out of nowhere, she kept just feeling like, "Ugh, I'm just like for a few minutes, I'm just feeling uncomfortable." And then she just sat up and like screamed bloody murder and just like laid down and coded. Heart stopped. So they're coding this woman who is pregnant. They coded her for a very, very long time, got her back, and did that like 3 more times. The third time that they got her heart back, they rushed her to our floor. We were ready for her. As soon as she got in the room, we hadn't even put the bed on break. She coded again. So obviously she did not make it. And that was really, really sad because as a nurse, as a physician, and everybody involved in that care, you wonder what you could have done better, or how how did that happen? She was fine and then she wasn't. And then of course there's this baby that died too. I'm giving you the very short stick of this entire conversation, but just to give you an example of the really horrible things that can happen, especially if you know a nurse or do life with a nurse that is in a hospital setting where people come and they're really, really sick. So keep that in mind, that we come home with that. That's not something that when we clock out, it's just gone, especially for the nurse that took care of her. You know, they maybe took care of her for the last several hours or several days. I'm not sure how long she had been there, but keep that in mind. And some of us want to talk about it. We call you on our way home and, oh my gosh, guess what happened? HIPAA compliant though, right? But some of us don't. Some of us just want to decompress and we don't want to talk about it. So just give us space, knowing that we may have had a really good night. We may have had a really horrible night. I'm thinking now as I'm talking about this that I probably should have said that to the end because that was really horrible. But hey, I've been a nurse 10 years. I've seen all kinds of things. So forgive me. You kind of have to really grow some thick skin in this industry. But really sad things happen is what I'm saying. And so keep that in mind. We may or may not be talking to you about that. Some other lighter things, understanding that our lunch break is not like other jobs, right? You go to lunch from 12 to 1 every day and that's it. We get in a lunch break if we can, we fit it in. So it can be any and every time. I say that because I have noticed, like, especially people who are newly dating or something, like spouses or partners, whatever, being upset that you weren't able to take a lunch and call them, or you can't take lunches together. We don't know. Like, I can tell you, hey, yeah, I'll be on lunch at 12 o'clock, and then shit hits the fan at 11:58 and it ain't happening. So keep that in mind. Some of us don't even get lunches. Some of us voluntarily don't take lunches because it's just too busy. But understand that that's something that a lot of people don't really understand. And my husband, I actually asked him for some ideas of what is it like living with a nurse, doing life with me these past 2 years as I've been a nurse. And he said, the first thing he said was, dark comedy, it's on the way. He's like, be prepared. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And he says, and he does not like this, but I joke about death a lot, and they might say something. I'm talking about it like, dude, I could really go out here and die. Or if this happens to me, y'all, just pull the plug. Don't let me live. Like, period. And like, mom. And he's like, babe, like, why are you saying that? Like, dude, just because I said it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it will happen. I am going to die. So I talk about death like it's nothing. Like it's, hey, what outfit are you wearing tomorrow? Because I've seen so much of it. Personally, I've had experience it obviously personally with loved ones, but also that's a really big part of my job, dealing with death. And wow, I can do a whole episode on death, y'all, in the hospital and what patients have said and did before they passed. I'm going to take note of that. But anyway, he doesn't like it. He really doesn't. It really bothers him. He says to tell you guys, train your family to be ready, to just be numb to the dark comedy because it's coming, because nurses, he says, act like they don't have a heart. But really, we just know what it is. We're realistic. We see it all the time, right? So yes, I would agree with him that we say shit that may not be funny to you because you're not used to it. Death is like this, oh my God, let's not talk about it thing to most people, where me, it's like, hey, what are you having for lunch tomorrow? So be ready for that, especially if you know someone who works in ICU or somewhere where shit hits the fan often, more often than not. And his other idea or concept is that be ready to be with someone and around someone who is bold and likes to take risks, like risks that are very uncomfortable sometimes and maybe impulsive and whatever. I'd like to say that that's a positive, right? Like we can be impulsive, but we're really, really fast thinkers. We have to be really quick on our feet. So sometimes that kind of me comes off. I come off as an asshole. I see that. I get that. A know-it-all, many different kinds of things. But hey, like I know people who are not nurses that are that way as well. So fuck it. So that kind of sums up what I think is important to know when you are doing life or you spend a lot of time with a nurse. I'm pretty sure I'm missing something. This list sounds very short, but I think that wraps up most of it. Please let me know if I'm missing something. Just all in all, know that we don't have normal jobs. Our jobs are very much part of our lives. We deal with people, the really, really awesomeness, and then the really, really most horrible parts of life. We deal with it. Give us a break. buy us fucking chocolate and be grateful. Not joking, but for real. All right. So this second part, it's going to be a lot lighter, right? And I want to talk about what are some ways that you could celebrate the nurses in your life? Now, there's a difference. There's celebration for Nurses Week, which is why I'm posting these episodes. But I think even more importantly is how do you celebrate the nurse in your life on an everyday basis, right? And so I have a couple of ideas that I enjoy, that I know people that I've worked with have enjoyed, and I'll list them. One me being bringing them lunch. I really enjoy this, especially before COVID. My husband would be able to come into the hospital with my babies and bring food, get to show your kids off, and people just get to know you a little bit more. Especially the kids, it's like, oh my God, you work here? And they're always asking me questions on the phone, but of course I can't like show them stuff on my phone. So it was really cool before COVID. They were able to see that and interact with people that I work with, spend a lot of time with. So if you can, bring your nurse lunch just randomly. And, it doesn't have to be all the time, but hey, babe, did you pack your lunch today? Or hey, sister, hey, mama, did you pack your lunch? What would you like? If there's somewhere close by, you can even have lunch delivered. If you do it early enough, I can guarantee they have not had lunch yet, and they will appreciate it. Again, bringing kids to see them, bringing their loved ones to see them. It's just really cool when you get to bring your kids into your workplace and they get to interact with the people that you share so much space with, right? Like, if you think about it, we spend so much time at work, and our work folks become our family, and you get closer when people can put a name with a face. Oh, she's told me so much about you. Or, oh man, you have an amazing dad, and just like the connection there. So that's one way you can do, no matter what time of year, visiting us on our breaks. I really enjoy this too. There's been a couple of times like my husband, especially before COVID, would come up when I was working days, right? We can go for a walk, we can sit in the car, like anything. Like if you let us know ahead of time, and always be ready for that lunch break to be canceled in case anything happened. But for the most part, if we know ahead of time, we can plan things out as long as things are going as planned, or we can let you know, hey, it doesn't look like it's working. So just spending time with us at work as much as possible is really cool. It gets us off the unit, gives a fresher breath of air. Like, I just think it's really fun. And in a way, like the couple of things I gave at the beginning of giving us space to decompress, giving us our space when we get home, those kinds of things are also ways to celebrate us as nurses. Like just understanding who we are, thinking of ways that you can make us smile throughout the day. Like people get flowers and stuff delivered to their floors wherever they are. Like, I think that's really cool. Little notes and things. It's just always fun, I think, no matter where you work, to get those kinds of things. Some gifts specifically for Nurses Week. So this is going to depend. I kind of categorize them in two different ways. So actual gifts, like tangible items, and then experiences. And when you're wondering which one to do, it's really important to know the person. Like some people actually do like tangible material things, and there's others that would do better with actually doing something or experiencing something. Like the cup you give them is going to the trash, or they're never going to use it, or that purse that you got that is ugly, that they don't even like purses. Like just think about what you're doing before you get it, and that's how you decide if you're going to get an actual gift or an experience for them for Nurses Week. So I've got a couple of ideas for you. Not going to leave you hanging when it comes to gifts. I love Etsy. I love Redbubble. Those are two online sites. I really love Redbubble because they're all small business owner or small business artists. I don't know what you call it, local artists, I guess, but they all make these things, and it's really, really cool. And you can get, custom art like on pretty much anything. So that's what I love Redbubble for. Etsy has all kinds of things that you can even think of, and they customize it for you. So I like those for customized gifts. So like if you want to get their names on things like a work bag or a cup or a mug or something that's like nurse themed. And yes, most of us definitely use cups, mugs, coffee cups that have a lid to them, and that lid really fits securely. And even more importantly, can I get a cup that stays hot for a long time? Because we'll have a cup of coffee and that shit, we'll be still drinking that at the end of the shift because it's just been so busy, or we sip because we're up, down, up, down. So definitely we love cups. We love mugs. Just make sure they have lids, because if we're using them at work, we don't want our shit just sitting out. Bags that we can carry. Now you have to know, do they like a bag that kind of goes over their shoulder where they can carry things like that? Or like myself, I prefer book bags. So just kind of thinking about, the person you're gifting to. And of course, these are great ideas for even men, especially like the mugs. The men I work with, they love the coffee mugs. And I've had ones that had like little things etched in from their kids for Father's Day and stuff. I think it's really cool. So can't go wrong with either of those. And it may not be anything that we use at work. So something we can put our water in, those kinds of things that's easily stored, and we can close the lid on it so it's not spilling, and we can have it at our computer or wherever we are throughout the day. Some other things like notebooks, and just think of things that we may use at work. So stethoscopes, make sure you get a good brand. Littman's is a really good brand. Make sure you read reviews if you're not familiar with healthcare, but can't have enough stethoscopes because people like to swipe. You put it down somewhere and it's not there. So most definitely pens, really, really good pens, like ones that write and it's like, oh, fucking crazy. But be sure to make sure it's a good pen. Don't get me those pens that like the ink barely comes out and I'm like writing 50 times to get it to work. Like, just don't. Pens are great. Those permanent markers that are like small that you can clip onto your name badge. So cool. People love little small scissors that they can clip onto their pants and stuff. What are some other things? And you can never go wrong with gift cards. So like to places where we can buy our own scrubs, socks, work attire. Hoka is a really, really amazing shoe brand. Don't get the shoes for them. Just save yourself time. Just get them a gift card. See how much it costs. Give them the gift card. Let them pick it out themselves. Some other great brands. You got Hoka. You got Brooks. You have some people like Skechers, Nike, of course. So those are the main ones. I know that I'm missing something. Danskos, I don't like those, but most people do. So I would say a lot of people do. You can't go wrong. Probably, maybe not by Danskos because they're kind of iffy. But the other ones you can typically not go wrong with. Now, what I love most, experiences. Massages. Like we move every part of our bodies at work, every part, right? So getting your loved one a gift card to a massage place, and if you don't know what kind they like, make sure it's a place that they can get several different kinds. Some like the light touch, some like myself like the big muscle, like get in there, type of things. Like get them a gift card for that, something that will get them at least an hour, in my opinion, if you can. Other things like nail salon, getting a mani pedi, again, take care of our fingers and our feet because we're on something health related in the regards to like things we could do with our body. So does your loved one like yoga? Can you gift them like a gift card or several sessions to a local yoga studio that's close to them or close to where they work? So something that they can move their bodies and do something fun. There's all kinds of workout, different kind of fun things that you can do now. So check your local place and check to see if it's close to them or their workplace. Look at the schedule, make sure it's not like one time a day, those kinds of things. Conferences are really, really good. There are tons of in-person or virtual conferences that most nurses will enjoy. Something that they may be actually learning about their actual jobs, like how to be a better nurse, educational things like the evidence is like changing all the time. So how we did a procedure, 5 years ago is probably totally different now. So the ongoing education for nurses is huge. So are there any big things like that? I think NTI, at least in Indiana, that's what we call like the big national like event once a year that nurses really love to go to. If you're local, they may like that. It is a week-long experience, so you might want to check to see if they can even make it. You don't want to waste your money. So anything educational, but also like leadership roles. Like as a nurse, we have to very much be leaders. We communicate. How do we deal with different families and ethical beliefs and or cultural beliefs, I should say, spiritual practices. So anything like that where we can learn that may not have anything to do with nursing, but if it has something to do with us learning about people and how to deal with different people from different spaces, anything on communication, I feel like that's the number one thing in nursing that we learn and we can either suck at or be very, very good at. So places like that, think about it. What would be beneficial for a nurse that's caring for you? What would you like them to have? And is there a class on that? Is there some kind of program, especially if it's something that they can get that's pre-recorded that they can do on their own time? Super, super cool and out the box. Is your loved one a mom or a dad? then most likely they would love time away from their kids. So maybe you can create a certificate online and offer them a couple of hours of babysitting or a weekend getaway or something like that. Those are like my fucking favorite. You can make a cute gift card, print it off, or gift certificate that you print off, put in a card. Perfect, right? And it doesn't cost you money. You just spend a little time watching their kids while they decompress and do what they do. Or you can pay for the kids to have an experience themselves that the parents can drop them off to, whether it's, a midday camp or a couple hour camp on art or whatever. There's all kinds of stuff for kids. So something that they can drop the kids off to for a couple hours and come back, like the YMCA where I'm at, like they always have kids night in or something where you can drop the kids off for 4 hours. They do all kinds of stuff, arts and crafts, and they're having a good time, and the parents can go do what they want. So can you offer something like that? My last idea here would be gift cards for like DoorDash, Uber Eats, something like that, because we love to be at work at lunchtime or dinner time or whatever and have our food there and ready and not want it. So to have a gift card, be like, you know what? I got this really good healthy meal here, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and get me some Chipotle. So to have a DoorDash gift card, Uber Eats gift card where you can just order that shit and it come right to you. Priceless. I love it. I think that's about it. So I'm going to check in with you guys tomorrow. Got another amazing episode. If you love this, please show me you love it. Let me know. Let me know what you're getting out of this. If I am missing some stuff, please. If you have some thoughts about any topics that I'm talking about, please let me know. This is interactive. I love it. And if you have a nurse in your life, or if you know someone who's doing life with a nurse or whatever, like send this to them. Just a quick 22 minutes of their time, and it may be very helpful. And it helps me get the word out to many people, especially my nurses. I love y'all. Y'all are appreciated by myself and all kinds of people around you. Y'all be blessed, and I'll check in tomorrow.